So, what is it like owning an iPhone 7 Plus in 2023? Well, to tell you for starters, the front camera video and photos look a bit weird. Maybe because there's a beauty filters for some reason going on in the background, even though I don't think I've ever turned it on. It's actually not bad for 2016. The processing might be a bit slow on my face because I keep tapping to manually focus, which isn't a good idea, because that can happen unless I move the camera where the square I put is. Now obviously I can't move it to the back camera without stopping the video, but as you can see, video is not bad either. This is the default 1080p 30 FPS, and you do get two cameras on the phone, and it's got a nice metal body, which I actually really like the feel of. It's got sort of a matte-like finish. It's really nice to hold, and it's also really thin. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm gonna crush the phone. Whoa, just crush the phone by holding it. It's got a beautiful retina screen, and honestly, it's just really good. If I needed a phone, you know, just for traveling, nothing too fancy, like my brick, literally brick of a phone, because it's like no smooth edges like the iPhone 7 Plus. It's really comfy to hold it for, you know, watching movies maybe. And it would be easier to game on it because of the big black bezels on the top and bottom. And still, pretty narrow bezels on the side. Now, would I switch to iPhone? Well, this is my first ever experience owning an iPhone. The iPhone 7 Plus. So I'm not really giving too much, what'd you say about it? Not really being too realistic, because your first iPhone in 2023 probably won't be a 7 Plus. It'll probably be like maybe an 11 or 12. But I have to say, even though this is an iPhone 7 Plus, it takes some really good photos, and the audio is also pretty good. Sadly, I didn't take my main phone with me because I want a light phone when I go cycling, and this phone, oh boy, it is very lightweight. It's so light, in fact, that when I put it in my pocket, this still bounces around like crazy, while my S22 Ultra barely moves it. So yeah, this phone is very light, compact, while the screen doesn't, it's a small screen compared to my, like even compared to an S23, a normal S23, this screen is smaller than that, but it doesn't feel small, even though the entire body of the phone is almost the same size as the screen on my S22 Ultra. So, would I recommend this phone in 2023 with 256 gigabytes of storage? Would I recommend it? Well, in my fairly short use of the phone, yes, I really would. It's got, I would recommend it as a travel phone, or aka vacation phone, because it still takes some banger photos, but you will miss out on some stuff, like super powerful processor, adequate cooling. This phone can get really hot, even if the only thing you're using is like Discord or YouTube, especially TikTok for some reason. Good part is, when I first used this phone, only 11 gigabytes of used storage. 11 gigabytes altogether, even with a little bit of the extra apps installed, like stocks, TV app that you might not even use, music app, iTunes store, extra apps, you know, and it's still less than 11 gigabytes of used storage. Why is that so impressive? Well, maybe because my Samsung S22 Ultra with half a terabyte of storage, so double this phone, uses more than 60 gigs just for the system. What is the system doing? What is it doing? Is it mining me Bitcoin? Is it downloading 4K photos? I had a wasp, I just hit it with my phone and I regret it. Is it downloading hot men kissing? What is it doing with more than 60 gigs of storage used up by system? And there's still a bunch of bloatware from Samsung and Google and your provider, your mobile data provider. Mine is A1. They had a bunch of apps installed on my phone that I don't even need. So yeah, that's the only problem with an Android. There's definitely more problems with Android, but recommending this phone would be pretty easy, and maybe even all iPhones. Well, yes, the only thing they've been upgrading recently is smaller notch, aka the display, quality of the display, the cameras, and the price of the phone. Those are recently the only things they've been changing. But despite those pretty hefty cons, in my opinion, I think I might, and honestly, I just might switch to iPhone. I know, as someone who has never owned an iPhone before and is using a iPhone that can't update to iOS 16, stuck on iOS 15, which is still pretty impressive for a phone from 2016. Samsung can't even do that with a phone from 2018. It's stuck on Android 10. So, would I recommend buying an iPhone over a Samsung? Honestly, it just depends on your use case. It heavily depends on your use case. If you want a lot of storage, but don't want to pay a lot of money, get a mid-range Android phone, or like a couple-year-old flagship phone, and you should be good. Because those phones usually support micro SD, whereas the new flagship phones, like S21 series and onward, and like the S6 for example, Note 5, they didn't support micro SD cards. My S22 doesn't support it, not my S23, but my brother's S23 Pluses, they don't support micro SD. So if you want plenty of storage but don't want to pay a lot of money, get a mid-range Android phone. But if you like the iOS ecosystem, you know how the software plays, how the software works, and you don't mind not having SD card support, you don't mind paying the quote-unquote Apple tax for like a charger or headphones, you know, from Apple, and the same goes for these phones. Their phones are premium prices, very premium prices, but so is Samsung's in my country at least, but especially Apple. But would I recommend them? Would I, as a loyal Android, aka Samsung user, a Samsung watch, Samsung tablet, 2 Samsung phones, more than 2 Samsung phones actually, would I in good conscience suggest buying an iPhone over an Android? Yes. Yes. Absolutely. It's a good phone, man. I like it. Works really well, especially for 2016. Samsung can't compete even with a 2017 or 2018 flagship, except for the fact it does have micro SD card support and it uses USB-C. But a phone from 2016 by Samsung pales in comparison to an iPhone from 2016. You know, same year, big difference. So yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you for watching. Yeah, that's that. Thank you for watching. And if you're gonna buy a phone, Android or iPhone, just look up reviews to know what you really need in a phone, or some sort of phone quiz, you know, that determines what kind of phone you want. Now I'm gonna put a slideshow up of all the pictures I took with this phone. Even after I get phone home, there's gonna be more pictures, so enjoy them.